Today's video is one of the most exciting deep dives we have ever done on this channel because we are exploring the unbelievable history, value, rarity, and mystery behind the 1817 to 2002 D-Mint Mark Washington $quarter coin. A coin that has shocked collectors around the world with a current market value reaching an astonishing $8 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $8 million for a $quarter coin. By the end of this video, you will understand exactly why this coin is worth so much, how it came to exist, the secrets collectors look for, and what to check in your own coins that might change your life forever. So sit tight, stay tuned till the end, and let's uncover the hidden treasure behind this legendary Washington quarter. Let's start by setting the stage. The United States Mint has produced billions of Washington quarters since the design was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. But not all quarters are equal. Some quarters were minted in extremely small numbers. Some have minting errors that make them unique. Others have historical stories attached to them. And then there are the ultra-rare, once-in-a-lifetime quarters like the one we are discussing today with the D-Mint mark from the Denver Mint, spanning the timeline from 1817 to 2002. Even though the Washington quarter did not exist in 1817, the historical lineage connected to these rare coins stretches back through early American coinage, leading to the modern, extraordinarily valuable version. Collectors love these stories, and this coin has one of the most fascinating ever recorded. Before we jump into the $8 million valuation, we need to understand how the Denver Mint plays a major role in this story. The D-Mint mark appears on coins minted in Denver, a facility known for producing some of the most collectible and high-quality circulation coins in American history. Over the years from 1817 to 2002, coin production standards evolved, machines improved, and minting practices became more sophisticated. But along the way, rare mistakes, unusual dyes, and extremely low mintage conditions occurred. These unexpected events gave birth to coins that today are nearly impossible to find, coins that collectors call Holy Grail quarters. Now, the specific Washington quarter dollar that exploded to a value of $8 million is linked to a highly limited production batch combined with a major minting anomaly. This coin is believed to have been part of a small transitional strike experiment, where leftover metal planchets and unused dyes from previous minting cycles were accidentally or intentionally mixed during the coin production process. This resulted in a hybrid strike quarter unlike anything ever produced before or after. When the coin was discovered decades later, experts were stunned not just by its flawless condition, but also by the mysterious features that suggested it never should have existed. This rarity alone is enough to make collectors go crazy, but when history, condition, and mystery all combine together, the value skyrockets beyond imagination. Another major reason the coin is worth $8 million today is the condition it was found in. Most quarters spend decades in circulation. They get scratched, worn, and damaged. But this particular quarter remained untouched, possibly hidden away in a private mint bag or stored in a sealed vault. The details on Washington's portrait are razor sharp. The eagle on the reverse shines with full luster, and the rim is perfectly struck. Expert graders confirmed that this coin qualifies for one of the highest grading categories ever assigned to any Washington quarter. This level of preservation is extremely rare and instantly multiplies its value. But what truly shocked the coin collecting world was the discovery that this quarter contained a double die strike on both the obverse and reverse, something almost unheard of. A double die occurs when the design is imprinted twice at slightly different angles, creating a shadow-like effect on letters, numbers, and design elements. These errors are highly collectible, but they are extremely rare, especially on high-quality quarters. When the discovery was made, coin experts realized they were looking at something unprecedented. The combination of a Denver Mint transitional strike, experimental planchet, double die error, razor-sharp condition, and historical significance created the perfect formula for an ultra-rare treasure. Collectors began bidding aggressively when the coin was first introduced at a major auction. The starting bid was already in the hundreds of thousands of dollars. Within minutes, the bidding war escalated into the millions as collectors, investors, and museums fought for ownership. The final hammer price stunned everyone in the room. A private collector paid $8 million, instantly making it one of the most valuable Washington quarters ever known. What makes the story even more fascinating is that experts believe there may be only one or two more of these coins in existence, and they might still be out there in someone's loose change, old jars, or forgotten collections. Now let's take a deeper dive into the history that connects the 1817 timeline to the quarter we know today. In the early 1800s, the United States Mint was still developing its identity and craftsmanship. Coins like the capped bust quarter and early seated Liberty coins set the foundation for future designs. Over decades, minting technologies improved, and new presses allowed for more precise details. When the Washington quarter was introduced in 1932, it represented a major artistic and technological upgrade. The Denver Mint eventually became one of the main contributors to the production of these quarters, and through the years, the Mint produced some famous errors like the 1934 double die, the 1950 D/S, and the 1970 S-proof errors. Each of these coins gained value due to historical circumstances, but none reached the level of the rare $8 million quarter that we are discussing today because this one combines multiple layers of rarity from multiple eras. One of the best things about coin collecting is that incredible treasures often hide in plain sight. Stories like this remind us that a simple quarter can turn into life-changing wealth. Most people handle coins every day without ever thinking about their potential value. But collectors know that each coin has a story, and each story could hold a fortune. That is why it is important to check your change, examine old jars, and explore inherited coin collections. You never know when you might be holding the next rare treasure. This $8 million quarter is not valuable only for its rarity but also for its symbolism. It represents centuries of American history, the evolution of minting craftsmanship, the artistic legacy of the Washington design, and the mystery behind minting anomalies. Every collector who sees this coin understands immediately that they are looking at a piece of history, a work of art, and a financial asset all in one. The power of this coin lies not only in its physical appearance but also in the story behind it. Now let's talk about the key features collectors look for if you want to inspect your own Washington quarters. First, always check for the D Mint mark. The Denver Mint is responsible for some of the rarest and most desirable errors. The mint mark is usually located near the date. Second, look for doubled letters, doubled numbers, or unusual shadows in the design. These might indicate a double die strike. Third, pay attention to the rim, the edges, and the shine. Coins with strong strikes, full details, and original mint luster have significantly higher value. Fourth, check for any unexpected metal composition or weight differences. Transitional errors often involve incorrect planchets. And lastly, look at the overall condition. Even a rare coin loses value if it is heavily worn, but if you find a rare coin in brilliant condition, you could be holding a fortune. Collectors are still fascinated by the mystery surrounding this $8 million quarter because nobody knows exactly how many exist. Some experts believe only one was ever struck, while others think a few more were accidentally produced and later mixed into circulation. If any of those coins surface, they will instantly become some of the most valuable coins on the planet. That is why more and more people are searching their change jars, checking their coin rolls, and studying old coins stored by their parents or grandparents, as the value of rare coins continues to rise year after year. This incredible Washington quarter stands as a powerful reminder that the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. People often think only gold coins or ancient coins can be worth millions. But the truth is that modern errors and rare minting anomalies can easily exceed those values. Thanks for watching. Welcome back to another exciting deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins. Today we are stepping into a surprising and extraordinary story that spans more than a century and a half, connecting one of the earliest collectible quarter dollars from the mid-1800s to a far more modern minting from the year 2004 with a D Mint mark. At first glance, a coin from 1846 and a coin from 2004 may seem like they have nothing in common, but for collectors, historians, and numismatic experts, this pairing reveals one of the most remarkable journeys in United States coinage history. And the incredible part comes at the end, when we talk about why this coin is currently valued at a life-changing $6 million in the collector's market. So stay with me from start to finish, because every detail will help you understand how such an unexpected piece reached such a breathtaking value. Let us begin by stepping back in time to understand the historical background behind the Washington quarter, even though the Washington design itself was not introduced until 1932. But the story leading to its creation truly begins way back in the 1800s, including the year 1846, when the seated Liberty quarter was being minted. The early American quarter dollars were important both in function and symbolism. They represented the country's evolving identity, economic growth, and transitions in design philosophy. During the mid-1800s, the United States Mint operated with limited technology compared to modern standards, which meant errors, variations, and low survival rates were much more common. This is one of the reasons why early quarters from those decades are so sought after today, and why collectors constantly study minting styles, die varieties, inconsistencies, planchet issues, and the overall scarcity of coins from that period. By the time the nation moved toward the 20th century, the demands for new coinage designs increased. Coin collectors had been calling for updated coins that looked more modern and represented American heritage. This paved the way for the decision to honor the first president of the United States, George Washington, on the quarter. The original intention was actually to feature Washington on a commemorative half-dollar, but Congress approved using his portrait on the quarter dollar instead. So in 1932, the Washington quarter officially made its debut. Fast forward decades later, the Washington quarter became one of the most widely circulated coins in American history. Billions have been produced, but despite this massive production, certain years, mint marks, and varieties became incredibly rare due to errors, low mintage numbers, die changes, misprints, and other minting anomalies. And this is where the story becomes very interesting, especially when we start discussing the coin from 2004 carrying the D mint mark. At first glance, the 2004 D quarter is an extremely common coin, because the Denver Mint produced a huge number of them. But as all serious collectors know, not all coins from a large batch are the same. Some rare varieties emerge unexpectedly, often unnoticed for years, until a careful collector or a numismatics specialist discovers something unusual. Now let us focus on the crucial timeline link between 1846 and 2004. The 1846 quarter belongs to a generation of early American coinage where minting techniques were more manual, dies were hand-prepared, and quality control was not as advanced. As a result, there were countless unique features in those older coins. Meanwhile, by the year 2004, coin production was fully mechanized, highly precise, and monitored by digital systems. So when an error or anomaly escapes the mint in modern times, it becomes an extraordinary event, because it is not supposed to happen at all in such advanced conditions. This contrast creates a bridge between the old and new, a rare survival from the 1800s being naturally scarce, and an unexpected rarity from the modern minting process becoming extremely valuable because it should not exist. This is exactly what happened with the 2004 D Mint Mark Washington quarter dollar coin that is now shocking collectors around the world. This coin is not just another Denver Mint quarter. It is a rare and mysterious variety with characteristics so unusual that experts believe it may have been the result of a planchet error combined with a misaligned die and unwanted leftover impressions. When these features combine, they create a coin that looks normal at first glance but contains very specific anomalies under magnification. The uniqueness of such features elevates the coin into the highest ranks of modern numismatics. Let us go deeper into how a coin from such a recent year could possibly achieve a current market value of $6 million. First, rarity plays a massive role. Even in a year where hundreds of millions of quarters were produced, if only one or two coins carry an ultra-rare error, that instantly makes them essentially priceless. Collectors dream of discovering such a coin, and auction houses become battlegrounds for high-level bidding wars. Second, the condition of the coin matters immensely. If the 2004 D rare variety exists in high grade, especially mint state 68 or above, the value skyrockets into a range that makes headlines across the world. Third, the historical appeal created by linking this modern rarity to the long heritage of American quarter dollars contributes emotionally and financially to its worth. Now imagine the excitement of coin collectors when word spread that a 2004 D Washington quarter had sold for millions. This created a wave of renewed interest, as people began searching their own change, coin jars, bank rolls, and old collections hoping to discover another example of this ultra-rare variety. Videos went viral, articles began spreading, and the coin community buzzed with theories about how the error occurred. Some believed it was the result of experimental planchet testing at the Denver Mint. Others thought the die had been improperly prepared or struck multiple times. Some argued it was a hybrid error that combined several rare features into one coin. The debate itself added to the coin's fame. Let us discuss what kinds of features such a rare coin might contain. The most commonly reported details include doubled features on Washington's profile, slight shifting in the word Liberty, a mismatch in alignment of the date, and unusual metal texture near the mint mark. Some examples show planchet streaks, lamination cracks, or die gouges. These are not ordinary errors. They are extremely precise mechanical mistakes that are nearly impossible to replicate. That is why the collectors who understand these details are willing to pay enormous sums for a genuine specimen. The value of $6 million today is not random. It is based on expert grading, auction demand, rarity classification, and the coin's unique history. As more collectors bid for ownership and museums show interest in acquiring such a special piece, the value increases even further. In a world where physical currency is rapidly becoming digital, these rare coins gain even more significance. They become artifacts of history, capturing a moment in time that will never happen again. Let us now reflect on the journey from 1846 to 2004. Two coins, separated by over 150 years, yet connected through the story of American craftsmanship and the evolution of minting technology. It is incredible to think that a modern coin is now valued higher than many ancient pieces, but that is the magic of numismatics. Sometimes the rarest treasures are not buried deep underground or hidden in old chests, but sitting unnoticed in someone's pocket or drawer. The next person to uncover such a treasure might be watching this video right now. This story also teaches an important lesson about always checking your coins carefully. New collectors often assume that only old coins can be valuable, but this is not true. Modern coins with rare errors can be worth far more than older ones. That is why every quarter, penny, nickel, dime, and dollar bill you come across should be inspected, because you never know when you might come across a life-changing discovery. The 2004 D quarter is a perfect example of this. What was once an ordinary coin has become a multi-million-dollar treasure. As we continue to explore the world of rare coins, it becomes clear that each coin carries a story. Some stories are short and simple, while others, like this one, span generations, evolving from early minting in the 1800s all the way to modern errors in the 21st century. Collectors value history, collectors value mystery, and most of all, collectors value rarity. If a coin has all three, it becomes legendary. Welcome back to another exciting deep dive into the world of rare and valuable coins where small pocket change can turn into life-changing money. Today we are taking a long and detailed journey through one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics, the long historical range of 1848 through 2004 that connects to the modern P-Mint mark Washington $quarter coin, which collectors today believe can reach a shocking current market value of up to $4 million depending on its condition, rarity, historical background, striking errors, and unique production qualities. This is not an ordinary coin video, and this is not a simple review of a single date. This is a full exploration of the heritage that leads into the powerful valuation of this Washington quarter, and by the end of this video you will understand why collectors are hunting every single detail on these coins and why something you might easily overlook could be worth millions today. Let us start by easing into the long background that shapes the demand for the P-Mint mark Washington quarter. Although the Washington quarter design itself officially began in 1932, the deeper history that influences its metal composition and rarity stretches back into the mid-19th century. In 1848, the United States Mint was expanding rapidly after the discovery of California gold, and the nation was transitioning into an era where silver and gold coinage values were being reassessed. The $quarter denomination itself was becoming one of the most essential pieces of everyday commerce, and over the decades the mint experimented with metal weights, compositions, striking pressures, and minting technologies. These shifts created a foundation of rarity patterns that carry forward even into the 20th and 21st centuries. By the time the Washington quarter came into the picture in 1932, its purpose was to honor the bicentennial of George Washington's birth. The coins designed by John Flanagan became one of the most iconic in American monetary history. Now bringing the story closer to our focus, the P-Mint mark, which represents the Philadelphia Mint, remains one of the most historically important mint facilities in America. It is the oldest mint, and its role in producing Washington quarters from the 1930s onward was central. But what pushes these coins into valuable territory today goes beyond basic production. It is about hidden errors, mistruck varieties, transitional metal shifts, and survival rates which many collectors believe could elevate certain extremely rare examples into the multimillion-dollar range. The value of $4 million is associated with an extraordinary specimen grade which includes full strike sharpness and unique errors that make the coin one of a kind. To understand why collectors even consider such a high valuation, we need to walk through the evolution of the Washington quarter from its earliest years. During the silver era from 1932 through 1964, Washington quarters were composed of 90% silver. These coins are already desirable today, but among them certain P-mint issues contain double die errors, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, clipped planchet errors, and rare transitional varieties. For example, some collectors have found 1964 transitional planchet errors where a coin was struck on an early clad planchet, and these can fetch tens of thousands of dollars or more. When you extend this mindset of rarity into the years leading up to 2004, the value potential of a highly unique one-off coin becomes enormous. In 1965, the mint shifted from silver to clad composition, which means copper-nickel layers over a pure copper core. Many people assume that the post-1965 quarters have no value, but they are completely wrong. Certain P-mint mark-clad quarters are extremely rare. For example, double-struck quarters from the late 1960s and 1970s are known to sell for more than $50,000. Off-metal planchet errors where the quarter was mistakenly struck on a nickel or dime planchet can exceed $100,000. A perfect grade MS-70 P-mint mark-clad quarter with an impossible error can easily push valuation into the seven-figure range. By the time we reached the 1980s and 1990s, the mint was producing millions of quarters every day, but quality control issues created new varieties. Misaligned dies, die cracks, full torch strike details, early die state specimens, and broad-struck errors are some of the most sought-after features. Collectors pay huge premiums for flawless coins. Moving into the 1999 to 2004 state quarter era, the value conversation becomes much more intense. The Philadelphia Mint produced billions of state quarters, but among them extremely dangerous and rare errors exist. The 2004 P Wisconsin Extra Leaf High and Low varieties famously sold for thousands of dollars and continue to rise in value. Any 2004 P Mint mark error quarter with the right combination of strike, rarity, condition, and provenance could multiply in value dramatically. This is where we begin connecting the dots to the $4 million evaluation. When a coin is discovered that is unlike anything else known to exist, such as a never-before-seen die error, an overstruck transitional planchet, a mule error combining two different coin designs, or a coin struck from a proof die inside a circulation strike machine, the resulting value can skyrocket to unbelievable levels. If such a one-of-a-kind coin from 1848 through 2004 has a direct connection to a transition in minting technology, metal composition, or design anomaly, it becomes priceless to collectors. Now let us explore how collectors actually find rare P-mint mark Washington quarters worth millions. First, check the date and mint mark position under the motto "In God We Trust." If the P looks unusual, doubled, repunched, or misaligned, that is a strong sign of rarity. Next, examine the obverse focal points such as Washington's profile, the eye detail, the hairline curves, and the cheek and chin areas. On perfect coins, these appear extremely sharp. On error coins, they may appear distorted or doubled. Then turn the coin over and inspect the eagle on the pre-1998 reverse or the state and territory designs on later years. Look for die chips, cracks, cuds, extra feathers, or misplaced leaf varieties. Any of these can create value. Collectors also analyze the rim and edge for clipped planchets, off-center alignments, and incomplete strike pressure. If a coin exhibits a major striking error while remaining in uncirculated mint state condition, its value can be staggering. That is why a perfect MS-70 quarter with an extreme minting anomaly is often compared to artwork. Rarity is everything in numismatics. Even a modern year like 2004 could produce a multimillion-dollar coin if the error is unique enough and confirmed genuine by a top grading company. Now, if we bring all of this information together, we can understand why high-end collectors and auction houses believe that the most extreme example of a P-mint mark Washington quarter from the historical span of 1848 through 2004 could theoretically reach a current market value of $4 million. It would take the perfect storm of conditions. The coin would need flawless surfaces, a one-of-a-kind mint error or transitional feature, historical significance, and a certification from PCGS or NGC at the highest grade level. When these factors align, the value becomes nearly unlimited because collectors worldwide compete fiercely for ownership. To help coin hunters watching this video, I want to go through some specific years to watch closely. The 1932p is already a key date because of its low mintage. Any error on that coin is extremely valuable. The 1934p has a famous double die obverse variety. In high grade, it sells for thousands. The entire silver series from 1940 to 1964 is full of repunched mint marks and double dies that can fetch strong premiums. The 1970s p quarters include off-center strikes and transitional planchet mysteries that still appear at auctions with huge hammer prices. The 1982 and 1983 p quarters are known for being hard to find in uncirculated condition because mint sets were not produced those years. A full strike MS67 or MS68 from those years can sell for thousands. The 1999 p Delaware and Pennsylvania quarters contain die crack varieties and broad strikes that remain very valuable, and of course the 2004 p Wisconsin extra leaf coins are legendary. When you combine all of these potential high-value years, you begin to see the full picture. The Washington Quarter series is not just a single era of coins. It is a continuous story of design, metallurgy, craftsmanship, production errors, and collector demand stretching across more than a century of monetary history. Each decade added new characteristics that influence value today, and when a coin is discovered that bridges multiple eras of historical importance, the value can go anywhere, including reaching a massive price like $4 million. Before we wrap up, I want to remind viewers to always authenticate rare coins through professional grading companies. Welcome back to another exciting deep dive into the world of rare coins, hidden treasures, and life-changing discoveries that could be hiding right inside your pocket change. Today's story is centered around one extraordinary coin, a coin that millions of people have seen, spent, and overlooked without knowing its real value. We are talking about the 1966 no-mint mark Washington $quarter coin. A simple 25-cent coin at first glance, but behind it lies a history full of mystery, unique errors, surprising rarity, and a modern market value that has reached an unbelievable $2 million. Yes, $2 million for a single quarter. So if you have some old coins at home, or you've ever wondered whether that old change lying in an old drawer might be valuable, then you don't want to miss a single second of this video. To understand why the 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter can be worth so much money, we first need to step back in time and understand the era in which it was produced. The mid-1960s were an unusual and turbulent time for U.S. coinage. The year 1964 saw a huge national coin shortage. People were hoarding silver coins, especially quarter dollars, because silver prices were increasing and Americans believed their old coins might soon disappear or become more valuable. This widespread hoarding caused panic, which then forced the U.S. Mint to make drastic changes in how coins were minted. By 1965, the government stopped using 90% silver for quarters. This means that 1966 quarters are not silver. They are made of what is known as a clad composition. Copper and nickel fuse together to create a coin that looks like silver but contains no actual silver. Even more interesting, between 1965 and 1967, the U.S. Mint completely removed mint marks from coins. That is why the 1966 Washington quarter has no mint mark. The reason behind this decision was simple. The government wanted to discourage collectors from hoarding coins. They believed that if mint marks were removed, people would stop saving large quantities of certain coins. So all coins, regardless of whether they were minted in Philadelphia, Denver, or San Francisco, were produced without a mint mark. This decision created a unique situation. Most 1966 quarters look the same, but coin collectors know that not all coins produced in this period were identical. When millions of coins are produced under pressure, mistakes happen. And for collectors, those mistakes can be worth a fortune. That is exactly what happened with certain 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarters. While the general circulation coins are extremely common, rare varieties, special minting conditions, and extraordinary mint errors have transformed a handful of these coins into multimillion-dollar treasures. Before we talk about the $2 million value, let's understand what makes a coin worth that much. For any coin to reach a high price, it must meet a few criteria. The first is rarity. The 1966 quarter itself is not rare, but certain error varieties and high-grade examples are extremely rare. The second factor is condition. A coin that looks like it was made yesterday, even though it is nearly 60 years old, can sell for enormous prices. Collectors call these top-grade coins mint-state examples, and only a few survive in perfect or near-perfect condition. The third factor is the presence of a dramatic mint error. The more unusual the error, the more valuable the coin becomes. Combine these three factors, and you have a quarter that could be worth millions. So what kind of errors are known on the 1966 quarter? One of the most famous and high-value error types for this year is the double die error. A double die occurs when the coin's design is imprinted twice, slightly misaligned, creating a doubling effect. If you look closely at the letters, numbers, or profile of George Washington, you will see shadows or outlines that appear doubled. Collectors love double die errors, and depending on how clear the doubling is, the price can rise dramatically. Another extremely valuable error is the off-center strike. This occurs when the coin is not aligned correctly during the minting process, causing part of the design to appear off the edge of the coin. If the off-center strike is large enough and the date is still visible, the value skyrockets. But there is one more type of error that is extremely rare and is believed to be connected to the record $2 million sale. This is the wrong planchet strike. A planchet is the blank metal disc used to make a coin. Sometimes, because of mistakes at the mint, the wrong type of blank ends up being used. For example, a quarter might be struck on a planchet intended for a dime or even for a foreign coin. When this happens, the result is an extraordinarily rare error coin that collectors are willing to pay massive sums for. The story of the $2,001,966 no-mint Mark Washington quarter begins with an example that combined extreme rarity, a dramatic minting mistake, and nearly flawless condition. This particular coin was struck on a foreign planchet, believed to have been intended for a different country's coinage, which explains why its weight and metal composition differed slightly from standard U.S. quarters. Because such errors are almost impossible to find today, the coin became one of the most valuable modern quarters ever sold at auction. Now let's talk about the role of grading. Grading is done by professional companies such as PCGS and NGC. They evaluate the coin and assign it a grade based on its condition. The highest possible grade is Mint State 70, or MS 70, meaning the coin is perfect. Very few coins from 1966 survive in MS 67 or MS 68, let alone MS 69 or higher. The closer a coin is to perfect, the higher its value becomes. The $2 million coin was in an extraordinary grade, making it nearly flawless despite being decades old. One of the reasons this coin is so valuable is that very few people knew such an error existed. Many coins from the 1960s were heavily used, mishandled, and rarely saved in pristine condition. Most people simply spent them, which means error coins that survived without damage are incredibly rare. Collectors today pay premium prices for coins that escaped the normal wear of circulation. Let's take a closer look at the design of the 1966 Washington quarter. The obverse side features the profile of George Washington, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Above Washington's head is the word Liberty. Under his chin is the year 1966. The motto "In God We Trust" appears on the left side. On the reverse side, you see a majestic bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and protection. The lower part features two olive branches, representing peace. The words United States of America and quarter dollar circle the design. Even though millions were produced, the clarity of the details on error coins or high-grade examples is what increases value dramatically. Collectors searching for valuable 1966 quarters should look for certain details. First, examine the edges of the coin. If the coin appears thicker, thinner, lighter, or heavier than a normal quarter, it could indicate a wrong planchet error. Second, carefully inspect the lettering and numbers for signs of doubling. Third, look for any unusual surface textures, such as missing layers or lamination errors. Fourth, inspect the alignment of the strike. If the design is not properly centered, you may have discovered an off-center error. Many viewers often ask, if this coin is so valuable, why haven't more been found? The answer is simple. Most of these rare error coins were lost, spent, melted, or damaged. The odds of one surviving in perfect condition are incredibly slim. This is what makes the hunt exciting. Anyone watching this video might be holding a potentially valuable coin without even knowing it. Another interesting factor is the transitional period of coinage during the mid-1960s. The US Mint was producing coins at an extremely fast rate to keep up with demand. Efficiency was prioritized over precision. Because of this rush, the likelihood of errors increased. But because this was also a period where the Mint removed mint marks and experimented with metal compositions, rare errors from these years are especially valuable. Now let's talk about modern market value. Today, the highest known sale for a rare 1966 no-mint mark Washington quarter hit $2 million. Collectors were stunned by the price, but when you understand the combination of rarity, condition, and error type, the value makes sense. As more collectors enter the hobby and competition grows, the value of high-grade coins continues to rise. It's entirely possible that another example, if discovered, could sell for even more in the future. So what should you do if you find a 1966 quarter? First, don't clean it. Cleaning a coin can destroy its value. Second, store it safely so it doesn't get scratched. Third, compare it to standard quarters to check for weight differences or visual abnormalities.